We'll talk about some grip and alignment. For a grip, I use the fan grip. Fingers are spread out across the flight plate. The thumb pinches pretty much into the index finger, the pad of the thumb, and most of the pressure is into the knuckle here, so there's not much disc really into the palm of the hand. The thumb is more pinching into the flight plate. The disc should be aligned to the forearm, so the plane matches your arm. It's actually whole arm. What I see a lot of people do is they kind of curl the fingers into the palm or into all the knuckles up here, when really you just want it on this first knuckle. Also, what the over curling does, often put the thumb out too far, and you'll see that the disc is not aligned to the arm anymore, and you'll have to kind of swing off plane to compensate for that. It also doesn't apply pressure across the whole disc. In my grip, I don't like to really scrunch things up. I like to spread a little more pressure, more like if I was throwing it like a hammer. So it feels like I'm holding the disc with the handle like this, and I'm just swinging the head of the hammer out. It also goes along with the thumb, so the thumb is kind of the handle. When I'm gripping, it feels like I'm gripping a hammer and throwing it just like this. I'm holding the weight back until the very last part, and then slinging the hammerhead out there. And it's not trying to spin it, because you're not going to throw the hammer very far if you're just spinning it. If you're throwing it out there, it's going to spin on its own. Same exact way with the forehand. The grip doesn't really change either between a putter or a driver. It all starts pretty much the same way. I find it easy to start with just lining the disc between these two fingers, just folding the middle finger in, and then wrapping the index around and pinching with the thumb. So go into fan grip, all I do is just spread the 3 fingers out across the flight plate more, and thumb doesn't really move. That would be modified power grip, just tucking these 2 fingers in. The disc is aligned to the arm in every single grip: fan grip, power grip, 2-finger grip. Grip doesn't change much either between a 2-finger backhand grip to a 2-finger forehand grip. I like to use the bent finger power grip. The middle finger is flat against the inside of the rim. The index bends in and also applies pressure into the inside of the rim. Thumb is clamping down, pinching down. This can pivot freely. I'm not really gripping hard, and I can feel the weight of the disc moving back and forth. Flipping to a forehand, to a backhand grip. It's pretty easy. And then same thing with the alignment of the disc with the forearm, forehand. And it's just a pop at the end. Same with the backhand. Keep the disc loaded, and at the end the edge of the disc will sling out. So the grip should be fairly loose, firm, so it's not going to go anywhere. And then at the very end you're going to grip pretty hard. Everything starts nice and slow, and then fast at the end. So the looser you are, the faster you can be, and you're going to be smoother. Also with the forehand grip, when I'm using a putter, I'll often switch grip to a 2-finger power grip. The middle finger is still applying power into the inside of the rim, and it's actually more like a fan grip, I feel, with the index finger pinching more into the flight plate. It's easier to control the flight plate this way. I can still throw with the bent finger, or sometimes I'll even fan the index finger out to the more the middle of the plate.